What if 3D Sonic has died before it actually began? Welcome to episode 2 of Concept Checks. Check out episode 1 if you haven't before. But if you're new here, Concept Checks is a series where I get into specific scenarios and what ifs and figure out how it would most likely end up and if the change would be good or bad. Today's question is, what if 3D Sonic has already been dead? What position would Sonic be at this point? 2D spin-off games still suffice? Enough for fans to keep Sonic as a whole alive? Let's dive in. History. First off, we're gonna go back into the history of 3D Sonic and why it has struggled so much, and how in reality, it could have completely died. Sonic's first true 3D adventure was Sonic Adventure back on the Dreamcast. Sonic is finally part of the 3D world with this brand new game. Now there's the inclusion of the Z-axis. Sonic in adventure games controlled decent enough. He went fast and did everything he could do in the 2D games, plus more. Even though he controlled decently, the controls were the true downfall of that game. The controls continued to be an enormous struggle for 3D Sonic games. Sonic undergoing so many different gameplay styles, mechanics, and controls. Sonic changes way too often. Until this day, he still has not found his footing. And it's surprising that this franchise is even still alive. It honestly should have died. If it did die. You've heard the history of how it survived. Now let's talk about if 3D Sonic actually did die. How would it affect gaming in the blue hedgehog that we all know and love? First, let's talk about how exactly would it die on arrival. I feel like a Sonic 06 game was bound to happen at some point, unfortunately. For the 3D Sonic to die immediately, there would have to be a Sonic 06-esque game at the start of 3D Sonic's life. But basically, there would have to be an extremely horrible Sonic game. The backlash for 06 was immense and is still a thing till this day, even though the game has been out for over 10 years. So it essentially killed 3D Sonic at the start. Sega doesn't like backlash or criticism, and they like to move forward quite a lot, at least that's what they say. But then you'll see Green Hill in at least 10 Sonic games. So it makes Sega out to be very hypocritical, and you really don't know when you can take Sega's word for sure. Sonic Adventure could have been a horrible Sonic game from the beginning, and it could have just screwed up the entirety of 3D Sonic. And 2D Sonic would have been the only hope for Sega pushing forward with the Sonic franchise. How Sonic is affected. If this were to happen, I genuinely feel like Sonic would just continue to stick to 2D games. Or Sega could take that L as a huge learning experience and take the time to learn from their mistakes. If something to this magnitude did happen with their first 3D game back in 1998, thus forcing them to craft a better Sonic game and take even more time doing so while they pumped out more 2D Sonic adventures. In my opinion, it could have gone either way. It could have revived 3D Sonic later down the road, or it could have actually went super inconsistent like how it is actually in reality, and then while that's killing off Sonic slowly, I guess we'll never really know. In conclusion, to wrap this up, just like most Sonic games, this situation was a hit or miss, and Sega just happened to hit it off just the first few times, but every time after that, they lost their magic. So let me know in the comments below. Do you think this would have kept Sonic consistently good, or have it not be as popular due to the fact of it not jumping into 3D like Nintendo did with Mario games? Let me know, and make sure to subscribe to see more Concept Checks. See you all in the next one.